IRS cautions, excise tax exposure, and litigation lessons. Hello yet again. This is Forrest Owens. I'm an aviation lawyer, a private pilot, and an FAA licensed airframe and power plant mechanic. Finally, let's discuss the point that many clients save for the end of the meeting and should raise near the beginning instead, and that is taxes. A fractional interest can produce real tax benefits, but from an IRS perspective, the tax result follows the facts of use, not the marketing brochure. That is especially important when clients start speaking loosely about depreciation. The first caution is that the owner is depreciating only the owner's interest, and only to the extent the aircraft is used in a qualified business use. Aircraft are listed property for federal tax purposes. The 2025 Form 4562 Instructions and Publications 946 make clear that listed property used 50% or less in a qualified business use do not qualify for the Section 179 expense deduction or the special depreciation allowance. This also makes clear that if listed property later falls to 50% or less business use, the taxpayer may have to recapture part of the prior depreciation. That is the IRS warning I would emphasize for fractional interests. A fractional share may be operationally elegant, but it can be tax fragile if the owner does not maintain disciplined records and real business use. The service specifically requires substantiation of aircraft expense, the time and place of travel, the business purpose, and the business relationship of each person using the aircraft. This is a second caution: personal and entertainment use. Treasury Regulation Section 1.274-10 disallows deductions for the use of taxpayer-provided aircraft for entertainment, except in limited circumstances. Treasury Regulation Section 1.61-21 provides the fringe benefit valuation framework commonly associated with standard industry fare level, or what's known as SIFL, or cost per mile for personal use of employer-provided aircraft. And in 2024, the IRS publicly announced that it was beginning dozens of audits of business aircraft involving personal use. The lesson applies just as forcefully to fractional structures. There is also a federal excise tax lesson. In Executive Jet Aviation versus United States, the Federal Circuit rejected a refund claim involving the air transportation excise tax. Years later, in NetJet's large aircraft versus United States, the Southern District of Ohio granted summary judgment for the government on whether NetJets provided taxable transportation under Section 4261. Those cases matter because they show where sophisticated programs still find controversy, not on whether the airplanes exist, but on what exactly the operator is selling and taxing. So what is the practical advice for large turbine clients considering a fractional program? Start with mission clarity. If the mission profile supports fractionals, conduct diligence on the manager's regulatory posture, safety system, flight substitution practices, training standards, fee architecture, casualty remedies, and records access. On the tax side, model the ownership entity, business use percentage, passenger use categories, entertainment exposure, fringe benefit reporting, and recapture risk before the first flight is booked. Here is a memorable point. A fractional interest can be a superb aviation solution, and a poor tax story at the same time. In short, fractional programs are valuable because they sit between whole aircraft ownership and charter. But the middle ground has rules. The FAA built those rules into Subpart K. The IRS built its rules into the depreciation, substantiation, and entertainment use framework. And the courts have repeatedly shown what happens when owners, managers, or advisors treat those rules as secondary. Here's the main point. With fractional ownership, the main question is not whether the structure is convenient. The right question is whether the structure, the records, and tax posture all tell the same story. Thank you very much for your interest in this topic. This information is provided for informational purposes only and is not legal advice. Please direct questions you may have to admin@aviationlegalcounsel.com. We look forward to helping you with your aviation-related legal needs, and we look forward to helping you navigate these issues with precision.